Hello, my name is Kanan Clayton, and today I want to talk about one of the most misunderstood books in all of Scripture, the book of Revelation. Have you ever opened the book of Revelation and felt completely lost? You have dragons, beasts rising from the sea, a woman clothed with the sun. It reads nothing like Matthew or Romans, and that's exactly the point. Revelation is not meant to be read like every other book in the Bible, and once you understand why, the whole thing opens up in a new way. Today, I want to walk you through 4 key ideas that will help you to understand Revelation, and by extension, help you understand what the Bible teaches about the end of all things. We're going to look at its genre, purpose, structure, and its central message. So let's dive in. My first point is know the genre. The single most important thing you can do before reading Revelation is ask, what kind of writing is this? Revelation is actually a combination of 3 literary genres. It's a letter, a prophecy, and an apocalypse. John writes to 7 real churches in Asia with a typical greeting, grace to you and peace. So it's a letter with a real historical audience, but it's also prophecy. John calls it that himself in chapter 1, verse 3. And it's apocalyptic, meaning it uses vivid symbolic language to unveil a heavenly reality that is breaking into the human world. Here's why this matters. If you try to read apocalyptic symbolism the way you would read a news report, you will end up confused, or worse, you will end up wrong. The numbers, the beast, the colors, these are symbols, not news headlines. 7 represents completeness, 3.5 represents a limited season of trial, 1,000 represents a long, significant period. Scholar Dennis Muldoon warns that any interpretation that ignores this symbolism will be a misinterpretation. So when we honor the genre, we honor the text. My second point is this: know the purpose. Once you know what Revelation is, you need to ask why it was written. Revelation was written to real people who were suffering. The Roman Emperor Domitian had taken the title Lord and God and was demanding worship. Christians were under enormous pressure. Some were being put to death for their faith, as we see in Revelation 2:13. And the churches were being pushed to either compromise or be crushed. So John writes not to satisfy curiosity about the future, but he writes to encourage the people to hold on in that day. Revelation 2:10 says this: "Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life." That's not a mystery. This is a pastor speaking to scared people and saying, don't give up. This means Revelation is not a puzzle book. It's a pastoral letter that's wrapped up in prophetic vision, and it speaks just as directly to us today as it did then, because the pressure to compromise with culture, with comfort, with fear, just like those people had, that hasn't gone away. My third point is to know the structure. Many people assume Revelation is a straight timeline, that you start at chapter 1, and as each chapter moves on, you step closer to the end times. But most scholars today recognize what is called progressive recapitulation, meaning the book circles back on itself in waves, with each wave showing the same spiritual conflict with increasing intensity. The 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 bowls are not 3 different sequences of events. They are 3 lenses on the same reality: God's sovereign judgment over evil, and his salvation for the faithful. And the pattern repeats: judgment, then salvation, chaos, then the throne of God. Think of it like a symphony that returns to its central theme again and again, each time richer, louder, and more resolved than before. When you read it this way, you stop trying to arrange a timetable and you start actually hearing the message. My fourth point is to know the center. Everything in Revelation orbits around one image, the Lamb on the throne. In chapter 5, John is told that the Lion of Judah has conquered, but when he looks, he sees a lamb looking as though it had been slain. And that's the paradox of this book. The victory has already been won, not by force, but by the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Revelation 5:12 says it clearly: "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." And this is the heartbeat of Christian eschatology. The end of the story is not chaos, but it is a throne, and on that throne sits the Lamb who loved us enough to die for us. And that changes everything about how we face an uncertain future, or a future that to us seems so uncertain. So here's the takeaway. Read Revelation with the right genre in mind. Hold on to its purpose for hurting people. Follow its structure as waves of hope, and never lose sight of its center, the victorious, risen, reigning Jesus Christ, who came to this earth, lived a perfect life, and died a death on a cross, and 3 days later rose from the dead for you. Just remember, the end has already been decided, so live like it. Thank you.